and picks up his burrito. All right, so it is our ALC meeting, but we want to start out with bucket filled and something good like every other meeting. So who's got something? Oh,
I have something I didn't share in accountability.
oh,
A friend that lives in Chicago, he's like, hey, can you send me an app that's good for finding real estate? I was like, I'll do you one better. I'll send you an agent that I trust. And so they're connecting today.
nice. Nice. That is cool. When you have a buyer under contract. You're like,
Saturday at the end too. He was working.
heard that was a good event.
It was really nice out. It was freezing cold.
Just part of it. Just a couple hours. What else? What else is good?
So I'm a fan of, I think I said it on here, so I don't want to keep saying it, but Alex is, he got that transaction that we're doing together, but then he also, the only way I know this is because he called me on Saturday, but he has an awesome closing. He's going to, I think, have the same GCI in like 2 months that he had the whole year last year.
What else? What else is good? Because I know there's so many good things. What else is good?
I'll bucket fill them for having the event because I got rid of a couple of things in my garage that I've had in there for a long
I must have
time.
not gotten on the invite list.
I came towards the end and saw there was still a little room, so I threw it in.
Awesome.
Well, actually, Brahma, I should take that back. Brahma threw it in.
Yeah. Eric, you're staring at me like you have something good.
I'm just trying to see if that's you over there.
The one in the hockey jersey?
I sent out a bunch of letters to my neighborhood and I did it for $400 cheaper than last time. So that was good.
What did you learn?
To do it, I learned how to do it myself. It's really not that difficult. Just takes a little bit of time.
I had a buyer that, sorry.
Go. Yeah, if you guys need to interrupt each other, go for it.
I had a buyer that came back and so he's working with a lender to get pre-approved, so we'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
Because I got a buyer under contract after multiple and their third time putting offers.
Nice work. Nice work. Awesome. Anybody want to share anything on Zoom that's good? Okay. All right.
I'll also say, since we have one more, Red Day, it was a lot of fun. That was good.
Oh,
No, it didn't rain at all.
any tips on getting the paint off your skin? I'm still scrubbing.
Wait, literally sweat paint thinner because mine came off like just with the baby wipe. I was like, they're like, oh wow, that came off. I was like, I don't know if that's good. I love
Nail polish remover.
Oh,
Oh, I'll actually try that tonight.
that's a good one. All right, what else?
It's Red Day again, I ran into a long lost friend there. She was one of the coordinators. And her best friend was one of my best friends, but we haven't talked in so long because her ex-husband got me in the divorce. And so I just felt like I couldn't talk to her for the last 2 years. And so I was like, you know what, I can talk to her now. So I called her and I was just like really happy to connect with her. And then she's like, well, I'm gonna move. So would you sell my house in Rochester? I was like, oh my gosh. Awesome. Not kidding, but so many good things happened out of Red Day. Like, so thank you guys for having Red Day.
I want to bucket fill Angie and Kari Lundeen from the Dynamarket Center. We had a great committee meeting yesterday, and I'm really excited for what we're gonna bring to the Butler Group, so.
Do you want to just talk about that for the people that might not know what you're even talking about?
Angie and I are, and Kari are co-committee chairs for the Wealth Committee for Butler Group, and we're setting up a 12-month series. I shouldn't overpump it.
You should overpump it.
Should overpump it, all right. Huge.
Flex with that though. all at the same time.
So we're gonna bring 12 months of wealth building education, starting out with some of the most fundamental stuff. We have speakers in plan and like independent people, so it's not just from the realtor perspective, which I think will be really good for everybody to kind of just engage your brains in thinking about wealth building and how to make it a priority and like how to take the little steps initially to set yourselves up for success in the future.
I'm incredibly excited about it. Super excited for it. So thank you.
Did anybody write that down? Because I'm in charge of forming the.
We gotta record it.
Mission.
On the note of Red Day, I just want, I want to say thank you. I know that, it's different going into different communities sometimes, right? And I think what we did was incredibly right in regards to a community that really, really, really needs some help. They need some care on their properties. And I think there was a lot of situations that we, came across while we were doing that, whether or not it was individuals that lived in the property, people that were helping with the property, or even people that just drove by. I know for me, some people in my community, I live in Minneapolis, not there, were like, we drove past 22nd and where were we? Bloomington.
Bloomington.
They're like, were you guys the red shirts that were there? Like, people noticed that in a way that was a positive for that community, because there's not a lot of positive that gets noticed in that community, for one. Usually it's sirens and police reports and a lot of other things. And we made a really positive impact for one minuscule amount of time in one day. And I think you guys should be really proud for that. And I think they really, really appreciated it. So thank you.
I think I counted 12 or 13 times where someone like shouted out the window, like, thank you, or like, keep going,
Yeah,
like, good
yeah.
work, or just like, people honking their horns and saying, woo, or something like that. So it was, I mean,
It was a big deal for that neighborhood to have things like that happen. So, thank you again, for doing that. All right, moving on. All right, here's the May training calendar. We have our R&R today. Do you want to give the details on that?
Yeah, just 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock at the Muni. Their actual happy hour where you get better deals ends at 5, so probably good to just show up and at least place some orders, before 5. So show up a little bit sooner. Muni's nice again because we can connect with the community, get to see some other people. I'm sure there's going to be other realtors there from other companies that will run into clients and stuff. So it's a good place, right? Why is that? It's like 3 minutes from here, so super easy.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Awesome. Objection response showdown is tomorrow in the Lakes office. I will be the one facilitating that. We have Rick is going to be there. We have some other, I know, are you ready for this? So if you went to the last objection response, it was more of like, let them walk through their responses. This time it is legit a showdown. So if you remotely falter a little bit, you get the and it goes on to the next. And there's a whole lot of people that's going to make very frustrated, and it's going to be so awesome.
Do you have a buzzer?
I'm going to get a buzzer for sure.
I
Maybe
can
I'll
do one.
Other people get to have cowbells. We have a cowbell. We do have a cowbell.
More comments.
So that's the live tomorrow. You guys really can come because you gotta support Rick because there's people from other offices and it'd just be really cool to come and support him and also learn at the same time.
Why don't you practice with Christie a little bit? I know how much that gets under.
I love his random. Multiple offers panel next Tuesday. I believe that's in Eden Prairie. And John, the TL from Edina is gonna be heading that up. I think they're gonna get into specifics of verbiage and what people are doing, not just how it's happening, but why they're doing it, how they're explaining it to their buyers as well, when they're writing things like escalation clauses, or appraisal gap. So they're gonna get into a little bit more detail than some of the other panels in that. We have the team meeting, the all office team meeting on the 31st. That one, we are encouraging everyone to be there. It's gonna be in Minneapolis, so Minneapolis Lakes, this month. And, we have a really cool announcement there, to kind of share with you guys that it's gonna be fun. So, next. All right. Oh, you
There you
said that
go.
You already said this one.
Yep, we said that.
Yep.
Today.
Okay.
Or tomorrow.
Can you tell a little bit more on this one? Because I think you know more detail on this, Candy, than I do.
So Kelly Maynard in the Eden Prairie office, this is something that's really dear to her heart. And after family reunion this year, one of the Kellers was like, we're a big organization. What could we do for, to raise money for an organization to really make an impact? And so they took on leukemia and lymphoma. And so we are raising money as a whole Keller Williams, nationally for this group. And because this is something that's also passionate for Kelly, she is kind of spearheading it and putting together a bags tournament at the Eden Prairie office. It's tomorrow afternoon. Supposed to be kind of rainy, but it's from 1 to 5. You can sign up. It's on our Facebook page to sign up for it. You can sign up for a team, or you can just go and eat food and have fun and do the raffle prizes and just hang out with other Keller Williams agents and support this great cause.
Lydia and I will be there. Kelly lost her mom at the age of 8 to leukemia. Kelly's my best friend.
I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to share that, so I'm just gonna put that one on you.
And so super near and dear to her. Our team is sponsoring the alcohol. You do have to pay for foods. You can't just show up. You do have to register no matter what. $15 for food. And then I think to play in the tournament, it's another 20. It's all going towards Leukemia Lymphoma Society. One thing that's really interesting is the regions are actually kind of competing in who can raise the most money. And due to Kelly's efforts, we're at the top of the list, which is a big deal. She got to be on a call with John Keller, and no one from any other region showed up.
And she got a shout out yesterday on the growth call.
We have this
which
phone
is-
call every Monday, which is done by Mark King and Jason Abrams, and she was mentioned on the scroll call.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was cool.
So even if you can't go, I'm just gonna encourage you to donate. And you can do that just by paying for food and don't show up or the link to do all of that through there.
And you can share it, like take it from our Facebook page and share it on your own page, because it's also a great way to reach out to your community and show like that Keller Williams is involved in different events. So like please share it from our Facebook page to yours to really get the word out there.
This isn't just for you.
No, so
Oh,
like I
no.
have my home inspectors probably showing up, like your vendor partners, what better way for them to pay money to support a cause than mix mingle with a bunch of realtors. So, yeah, I mean, you can invite whoever.
Awesome.
I have a silly question. What's bag?
Bag house.
Bag house.
You have got it.
Sorry.
this at your house. People call it different things.
Yeah.
Did I miss a page or is this it?
So this is. Maybe do this. Okay, so this is why I'm wearing this. No, but this is actually really exciting. So we are putting together some, you're like, just because I'm cheesy does not mean anything, okay?
We love you for it.
So we're doing something called Impact, and it's the market versus our realtors, essentially. So, it's gonna be 60 days for us to amp up our businesses. So across the board in a lot of coaching appointments, as well as me just seeing the numbers, people are saying, I'm down, my numbers are down, right? And that's for various reasons. So as an entire group, we are doing a competition, essentially our market center versus the Lakes office versus Eden Prairie and Edina are together right now because Edina is getting some remodeling done and Otsego. 2 objectives. 1, to get you into production, which is the real win, right? Because we're helping a ton of families in that moment, as well as we're making sure that you're creating more and more business and the money goes into your pocketbook. 2, we are going to win. So that's the other thing. If there's one thing I'm super competitive. And we don't have any of the real goals yet set on what those look like. And it will be kind of distributed depending on how many agents are in each office so that it's quote unquote fair. But this is going to be launched on June 7th. And the launch is actually here. So the launch is where they'll go through everything on Wednesday. They'll explain everything. And we're going to have our very first block party out in the parking lot with all of the market centers. So we'll have hot dogs and chips and some other food. It'll be incredibly fun. Then on Thursday, we're going to be going through a few of the ways to lead generate. So it's going to be database at 9 o'clock and social media at 10 o'clock. Those are also going to be here. And then at 11 o'clock, we have what we call batting practice. So that's going to be where either we script, we ask questions, or we ask the people that are really good in those areas what they're doing in practice and role play. Then on Friday, we have boots on the ground and open house. So boots on the ground is at 9, which is door knocking, canvassing areas, anything that you do that would essentially be boots on the ground, networking. All of those things fall into that category. And then 10 is open houses. And then we again have batting practice at 11 o'clock. When we move forward throughout the weeks, there's going to be a schedule with that. And from 8:45 to 11, that will be what you're enrolled in for impact. So at 8:45, there's going to be a mindset piece. And then 9 to 9:15, there will be a scripting piece that I will lead for our market center. Where did you just go? And then these are the things that we're focusing on each of those days. Monday's database, Tuesday is social media, Wednesday is a full open kind of whatever. So that's called the batting practice. Thursday is boots on the ground, and then Friday is open house. Do you guys have questions on that? I'm sure you're gonna have a ton of questions, but most of them are gonna get answered at our all group meeting or all team meeting or on June 7th for the launch.
How do you win?
So how we win is we're going to be counting listings. So listings taken, buyers buyers taken, pending contracts is how we're going to be scoring that. So there's going to be a scoreboard here, and then it's going to be a percentage of agents, right? So if we have 100 contracts, that means, and then we divide it by how many agents we have to make sure that it's even with the other market centers that have more agents than us. So those are the 3 things that we're going to be
You know what I was
tracking.
gonna say?
Yeah.
Your check account.
Yeah.
Check account. How do you win? Your check account.
That's true.
You have to be in command, otherwise you can't track it there. So
Things do after. Any other questions?
What is open house mean?
So how to do open houses? So what are some strategies on open houses? Are we on the open house day, essentially, that also could be, hey, I'm going to go flyer that neighborhood for the open house. I'm going to circle prospect for that open house. I'm going to put out a text message for that open house or invite people to it, and they can be multiple things. You can do social media posts on that day too.
And it starts over the next week.
Yep. Yep. Any other questions?
In office only from.
Yes. And you can show up during that. It's not like you're required to be there that whole time period. If you can't show up for some days, that's okay. What I would encourage everyone to do is sign up and be as much of a participant as you can, because we are honestly giving you the content that you need for all of these things. You just have to fill it in and send it out to your databases. So it's a huge way for you guys to get in production because we're even writing your scripts for you. Any other questions? I'm so excited.
It does sound awesome. Thank you.
And what do we win?
We're going to the Twin.
We don't know that yet.
Surprise.
We don't know
Check.
that. I do like though that you're the one that. I think it has to work when it comes to the twins. Like, I think there's a little bit of.
Good, what?
So just on that note, that means that every other week we'll be having our block party, and we will have a sign up sheet after this one.
I think Lydia sent it out once via email that you could sign up right from the email.
Quantum Leap. So Quantum Leap is going to be here with Gene Rivers. Our leadership teams, I am unfortunately not here that day, or that time period. But this is something that anyone that wants to kind of increase their leadership lid, or are currently leading someone, or potentially want to be in a leadership role, or just have some sort of personal development, you don't have to necessarily have a role for wanting the personal growth with this. This is an incredible class. This is one of the staple classes of Keller Williams since the beginning. So it's getting offered here. It's on Wednesday, June 14th, 9 to 4, and it is going to be at the KW Roseville. So if you have not taken this, it is an incredible class to take, especially having Gene Rivers teach it. How much is it? 60? Is it 60? 69. Awesome.
Gene Rivers is awesome.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to start the ALC meeting?
Do it.
I second that. Awesome. All right, so I got a really amazing email because everyone was like, what are our questions? And I'm like, I know there's a lot of announcements. So really, in regards to our book, I just want to take kind of an overview of it on a very short part of it, because we also have a vendor coming later, correct?
Sorry, they're sick.
Just kidding. They're not coming.
But we still got lunch.
We still have lunch.
Promise you lunch and bring in lunch.
I know.
So, just giving an aha of what you have learned so far from the book, and something that you have either implemented or utilized in your business since starting reading it. Who wants to start?
For the social media aspect, really thinking about it for a connection standpoint rather than scheduling posts or a thing like that, something like that. Really kind of the intention of really connecting with people. So I've incorporated with our DTD2, which is contacting your database 4 times a year, every quarter. Really putting purpose, adding the social media connection in there. So not just texting or calling them, but also making sure I get into their social media accounts if they have them. Connect with them in that manner and celebrate their personal.
So you're becoming more relational in a personal way versus just the normal, but there's a system in place for it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well,
I went back and looked at the email that you sent to us like in the beginning of this whole thing. So this month would have been chapters 8 through 11. And one of the things that I was driving up and I was listening to it again, one of the things that stuck out to me both first time I heard it and the second is unexpressed appreciation communicates disappreciation or whatever that word is, inappreciation. So uncommunicated or unexpressed appreciation equals or communicates appreciation. And for me, that just goes, how many times have I had the thought, like I can think about, by the way, you should use this T-Mobile because I had this lady from T-Mobile who I needed to get a watch. I ordered a watch. It was supposed to come on Mother's Day. It didn't come on Mother's Day. It was going to come the day after Mother's Day. So I called T-Mobile. I said, what do I do? And Lisa answered the phone and Lisa said, oh, I imagine how stressful that is for you. I'm going to take care of everything. So she said,
first of all, she heard you.
yeah, right. How often do you get a person that's going to take care of everything? And then she said, do you want me to use your, are you at your office right now or at your home? What zip code would you like me to find the store for you? I said, well, why don't we start with my office? She said, great. She said, I'm going to call every store around and see who has the watch for you. She hung up. And whenever I've had this customer experience before, the hang up is like the death, right? But she hung up and she called me back. She said, Kevin, I just called the Minnetonka store, they don't have one. I'm now gonna call another store. I'm now gonna call. And for like 45 minutes, Lisa was making this call. And then she found it. She's always in business. Hey, this was awesome. No one's ever given me this experience before. And now I'm just gonna shoot myself, like, I'm just shooting myself because it's not good. I said, well, how can I communicate that to everyone, that everyone knows? She goes, it's not about that, but you might get a survey. And I haven't filled out the survey yet, because it makes me think about how unexpressed appreciation communicates an appreciation. So just writing, taking the moment to do that next step. But, Lisa T-Mobile is the best customer service person I've ever had.
You know what's awesome about that story, Kevin, is how many times do we send out a survey and when we don't get it, we're like angry, right? We're like, we did such a good job.
Yeah.
But they're human just like we are, where we don't fill that out sometimes either, or even take the time, but yet we expect them to do it for us.
Yeah.
And I think I've been in places where I'm like, they just must not appreciate it at all. I mean, I think people have been there. Someone hasn't said thank you or whatever it is, that it really doesn't take that much effort.
Yeah, so my goal this week is, I have vendors that have, like, a couple vendors who have actually given me referrals. I'll say, hey, on the phone, I'm really great at it, but to go back and say, I just want you to know this has resulted in that closing. This is how appreciative I am of you doing that. And it says when we encourage people that way, they actually continue in that process, right? We encourage the things that are encouraging.
Awesome. Eric.
The piece on the power of the handwritten note was interesting to me because I have used handwritten notes as a part of my lead generation follow-up for many years. Just a time back home selling team note card that's blank on the inside, and I just write whatever and send them out. I feel like it's been an effective tool in following up with people because people do tend to hang on to them, which they and the twist on it was that I've not personally used the handwritten note much ever in like with other relationships I care about. And the book opened my eyes to that being a like a tool, if you want to call it. That makes it sound kind of impersonal. However, I can see the appreciation. And when I got home from Columbia, in my mailbox was a handwritten note from Katie. Oh, that's nice. So, I think using that in our lives, both business and personal, really like be rewarded.
Chapter 8 title is in favor of who are you in favor of? Is it your clients? Is it your team? So on and so forth. 9 is designing a for culture, right? Which is take the attention off you and for others around you. 10 is where innovation lives or dies. And this is a lot about what Kevin was talking about, just getting that affirmation, giving people affirmation that, they're doing something and they are valuable and they're significant. This leads me to thinking about this crossed over and carried into the Jake's lead agent or whatever was yesterday. So there were some realtors here yesterday for a kind of a leadership thing. And it was really interesting because a gentleman by the name of Dan Winters, right? Yeah. So Dan Winters said, he said, I've completely changed my mindset in my business. My focus now is on, as a leader, my focus is on how I'm serving others. It's not on how others are serving me. And it was interesting because as we went through the rest of the course, an hour and a half class there, that kept coming back. It made me think to myself, just like on the team, just in my team in general, okay, am I serving my business partner more than she is serving me in the business? And I look at my director of operations, the assistant, and that's an even more significant one. Where for me, it's an easy answer to say, well, she does everything for me. It's amazing. It's pretty much the only thing I talk about when it's related to Jordan. I'm always like, yeah, she's amazing what she does for me. And I started to realize, well, what the heck do I do for her? And obviously I'm training her and teaching her and getting her integrated in construction, all that stuff. But it really begs the question, what is my responsibility in this business? And as a leader, my responsibility is to serve them and the clients in a manner that it takes everything off of me. So if you start with, I'm going to do everything I need to do to teach Jordan everything that will benefit her in her life and her business, well, of course, the after effect is going to be that our team is going to grow stronger. But that has to be the secondary goal. You know, so the first goal is always to take care of other people. I mean, this book is pretty straightforward, that it's about everyone else first, and that's how you will be successful. So it just was nice to hear basically the same exact mindset go through pretty high level leadership class. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
And really cool. I can't remember who he referenced. I think maybe it was Tony Robbins, but the evidence of a great, who else was there? Evidence of a good relationship is, let's just say Derek and I have a business partnership. You know, and this carries over to marriage too. This is great. So let's just focus on business partnership, a little bit easier, Derek. So business partnership between Derek and I, and if you ask the question, who benefits more from the relationship? So Derek gets asked that question, who benefits more from your relationship with Rick? And I get asked the question, who benefits more from your relationship with Derek? And if our answer both is ourself, then it is a very good, healthy relationship. Think about that. So if I say I benefit more from my relationship with Derek, and at the same time, Derek honestly can say, which, you know, should be a no-brainer, Derek benefits more from, totally kidding, right? That's the point. Derek benefits more from the relationship with me. Now think about what I just said with Jordan. Okay, do I benefit more from my relationship with her, or does she benefit more from a relationship with me? I haven't asked her yet. I asked Sherry.
He's terrified.
No, the only one that benefits is Rick. That's what she'll think. No, that's what we don't want. That's what you don't want. And I think that is just it is a key thing. Think about your relationships with people, you know, in this business and personal as well. And you start asking people that question, because if they're not answering themselves, then you are not doing it right.
I love that question.
Looking at you, kid.
These chapters that we read for this month were about specifically how you treat your employees or the people that you work with. And then that in turn will reflect to the customers, because if they're treated well, they're going to be happy with what they're doing, and then they are going to treat the customers even better. And
How did he say it? How you treat your team, eventually it's gonna play out in how they treat their customers. right?
correct. Yep. And coming from the food industry, and I mean, a lot of this I take back to past experiences, and then how do I transfer that into what I'm doing now? And I think we get so caught up in our day to day that we forget about appreciation, and making sure just that we have gratitude for the people we're with and that are helping us, and that in turn will help them work harder, or then potentially give us more referrals, that type of thing. And really just being grateful for the work that people put into us, as well as the work we're doing. My aha so far for the book, I think, is really taking the time and making relationships with the people that I'm trying to do business with versus trying to get business out of them. I send out birthday cards now for everybody's birthdays. That's in my A categories, along with, home anniversary cards, but those are kind of separate. And my husband made a comment about, why are you sending this person a birthday card? They're going to give you business anyway, or is this really going to then turn into business? And it's not about that anymore. It's about making them feel special, and it's about the relationship that I'm trying to build. So just expanding on that and doing it kind of throughout social media and more aspects of my business to generate business.
So you've done those birthday cards. Are they coming from you or your business?
They are coming from me. I do put a Mo Real Estate sticker on the back of the envelope, although I have left that off for certain ones if they haven't transacted with me. So typically for me.
So one of the chapters, the title is in favor of, and I just kind of made it more personal when I was reading that, and I kind of put a little twist on it. I just remember during the political season, my friend saying we always make life decisions binary, and like politics, you look at the two different sides, and it's either you're with me or you're against me, and we tend not to look at the common ground. Or, you know, we don't look at the common ground, we just tend to make oppositional decisions. I don't want that, so I'm gonna do this, and it's very defensive as opposed to visionary or offensive. And I just thought, what am I in favor of? I want to live in a way that's more visionary, where I'm not playing defense, trying to hold back the bad that I see,
Yeah.
as opposed to living out the good that I want. And I just, recently I've been thinking about, I think I've mentioned it once before, I want to see how I can keep people in their homes longer. That's an objective where you get old people who don't want to die in a nursing facility. They'd love to die in their own home, but they can't stay there. And so I've had this idea of how can I keep people longer? For one thing, it's also fishing, I'm fishing upstream. Those people are eventually going to sell, and I might be the person who's going to sell their home. But if I can keep them in the home, saves them on their, they're not paying $5,000 a month for a facility. If I'm maintaining their property, I sell a property that's going to be worth more in the end, and it's not going to be a shambles. And perhaps I can develop a revenue stream that it's a subscription service. Well, been thinking about this idea, and there was a man that I've been kind of just sitting with. I kind of meet with him every so often. He's an older gentleman, and he told me, you know what, my son's going to sell my house. And I'm kind of like looking at him going, well, why are you telling me this? He goes, I just don't trust you. I don't know what your motives are, why you're sitting with me. And I'm like, why are you, because it started out as a real estate call like 4 years ago. A real estate call, I cold called him, and he'll still raise up, oh, so-and-so from Keller called me. I'm like, why is so-and-so here with you right now talking? But he'll mention it, he just didn't trust me as a realtor, because I'm kind of like the wolf coming after him. Well, he's kind of migrated to the point where now he calls me, and he called me up and said, hey, I can't get to the doctor, can you get me to the doctor? And I drove him to get his tooth extracted. You know what I mean? It's just like, the relationship has just progressed, and it's not like I'm going to get a lot of business, but all of a sudden I wanted to create a business where I might figure out how to do like I property manage individuals like rental properties. I'd like to owner occupied property management, create a subscription service where you do kind of onboard people and then do this maintenance. And suddenly he said, I've got problems. I can't stay warm in my bedroom last winter. And so we're now working at changing out his windows. And so suddenly, even though I wasn't ready for it, I'm suddenly being beat up to be the guy who property manages this guy's house. Well, so he can die in his house. And just, I'm there, and now that it's an interesting development where you're looking not necessarily at the business that's going to drive me. Perhaps it's going to create a different business that I will enjoy more than making a cold call. I enjoy the relationship and knowing that I'm doing someone, the kind of long-term benefits.
But can I just comment on that real quick? What I heard through that, Scott, as you were saying, I just kept operating, and I was talking to another person this morning about you're able to do that because you're not operating out of scarcity, right? And I think that's the cool thing about real estate is when you get in real estate, and I also think it's why so many people get out so right away. I think it is a grind. Like there is a spot that's I got to do this, I got to do this work, I get to this place. But then as we create this from scarcity, like business can start to look different, or this life by design can start to look different. It might be I'm doing some rental management stuff. It might be, you know what? This is not a fantastic business decision, but my business allows me to spend time with this person. And I think that's the designing part gets fun once you hit that, what do I need to survive, or what do I need to be in a spot where I'm not in scarcity anymore, so that this other things start to shape out of who we are, right? And the last two times you talked about, one, I want a tool shed that others can use, which means that communicates who you are. And this time it's about, I want people to live in their home longer. Well, as a realtor out of scarcity, I want to do everything I can to sell that house now, right? So just how that changes, and then you see who really you are operating on. I think that's good.
Well, not even out of scarcity though, sometimes people just are like, what is in it for me?
Yeah,
Right? Like that piece of it, not even like they could be the most successful, but they're like, it's another house to sell. Like, let's, you know what I mean? Let's move you to wherever, even if it might not be the right decision. I'm not saying anyone here does that. But in this industry, I think that people get pushed sometimes.
You know, Jelena was saying, that doing those. That's long-term hard. It's not gonna get you a new client tomorrow, next week, maybe even this month, right? That's longer term, but that's coming from the heart. That's something that has to happen for us to develop these stronger, longer-term businesses. I mean, if you're gonna do this for 3 years, well, then don't worry about that. Don't worry about what this business looks like in 5 years. But I think most of us are in it for the long run. So we're developing a business, and you can't do only that. And you also absolutely, more importantly, can't just prospect. Because if you're just prospecting for short-term business, you're not going to build your business. We're all here for a reason, because we care about other people more than ourselves. We want to serve other people. It's the job, right? That's who we are. And so it's important to just try to create some balance there. Don't ever leave out that piece. Don't ever leave out the piece that Scott's talking about, because that's what's going to get you longevity in this business, right?
Yeah, like that, what happens to the person once you sell their home, right? That's that whole fiduciary functionality versus the relationship. Am I going to be the person they call when they have another real estate need? And it's easy when we're in that other spot to go, I just got to turn and burn. I got to get my month going. And that other piece of, well, I haven't connected with this person. Well, maybe that's more important right now than this. Once you get to this, if you don't have this, we all got to get to a spot where we can build a business. If you're going on, you haven't had an appointment where you're asking for something for business, you're going to be like, this is why, right? We got to get to that spot. But I think that's really cool. I think it's honorable to the story you shared.
And everyone does their business differently. That, like you do, I would be able to do it. Like my personality type, right? Like, and so I function differently. Rick functions different. Like everyone can find their own way and still be really successful. And I think that's what the beauty of hearing all of these. No one said that they were doing the same thing. Really, they all had their own personality to it, and you're all very successful. So awesome. Speaking of success, let's talk numbers. All right, who wants to start with their numbers? Remember, it's appointments, closed, pending, and then profit. April. I mean, yes, we're in May, but it's for, yeah, it can be both. I did it wrong, but because I did May,
It's okay. Okay, so for month to date, my goal is 6 appointments. I've had 2. Contracts, the goal is 3 and I have 0. Closed units, the goal is 3 and I have 2. So this is an improvement from last month. GCI goal is 53,000. Actual is just under 20,000. And revenue, goal is 2,361 and actual 1,000. So I think I'll reach that goal did it. Oh, and then I did it. Okay. Okay. Here.
Printed out this nice spreadsheet, I literally can't even see it, so.
Readers.
We are at, what's my percentage on here? We are roughly at 25% of unit goal for the year. We are at 47% of team percent of GCI goal. So we're very close to halfway to GCI goal for the year.
So interesting, units are almost a fourth, but GCI is almost a half.
Correct. And if I can see this,
So there are larger deals, there are.
yes, the average sale price right now is up to 767, and that's like obliterates any number that I've ever had previously.
Okay.
Which is outstanding. And it puts us at just under 7 million pending or closed for the year.
Awesome, awesome. And let's talk about that. I mean, your first few months are always a little bit deep breath, slower, right? You just did
I
that.
actually just did.
That was a physical reaction that you just had. And still being there, like, it's taken usually a little bit longer to catch up to that.
Correct. I'm concerned about the unit number, being at the number of units that we are, and the listings taken is unacceptable. I
Okay,
mean, it really is.
what are you guys implementing to make it unacceptable?
Follow up and lead gen is
Okay.
what needs to happen.
And that's not happening now, or you're doubling down on it, or?
Back up again.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah.
What do you think your increase in GCI, like, I mean, the higher price?
Yeah.
Whatever $2 million listing.
Yeah, I mean, right, bigger sales, yeah, and it's, those are the relationship transactions, so, and actually, the larger transactions have all been, either long-term relationships and or long-term follow-up. Actually, one of them was like a listing that I had 5-6 years ago, and their listing expired. We had a plan to go back on, and they ended up listing with another agent. And it, like, called me and apologized and told me they really wanted to, but whatever. And that agent ended up selling it to somebody who had seen it under my watch. And like, not outside the contract or anything, janky. And when they told me then that when they moved back to Minnesota, they would call me, and sure enough, in December or whatever it was, they called me and we started working together. So, the benefit of a long-term relationship, and I had followed up with them or stayed in touch with them. So, even though they were living in Dallas.
All right, Scott.
So May numbers, I haven't done a good job on tracking appointments. Contracts, I wanted 2, I've got 3. Closed units, I wanted 2, I had 3. At GCI, my goal was 28, I'm at 38.5. And then I don't have my work profit.
Okay.
So we did well in the GCI, but we had really kind of slow beginning. The beginning, and I have stuff now kind of starting to not pile up in a negative way, but people kind of coming into the fray, but it'll be buyer heavy. And I could see that there's gonna be probably some of them have been in and out of the market saying that they're gonna buy, but then they backed out because they say we're gonna rent because of the interest rate. So you don't know if they're gonna turn into something. So it'll be interesting to see as we kind of are in the hunt for properties, whether I can get them into properties, get them closed, and they don't bail out for market reasons.
Awesome. All right, Delana.
So April, appointments, my goal was 6. I had 8. Contract signed was 4. I had 8. I only had 1 closing in April and 1 closing in May. I've only had 3 appointments, this month so far. Goal is 6. And only 1 signed contract this month so far, and the goal is 4. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. As of what's pending through June, I will be 4 transactions behind where my goal is. I was 7 this month, so I've made a little headway. But for total revenue, I'm only $6,000 behind where I should be by the end of June with everything that's pending. So I've made up a lot of ground in the last, or what's pending so far.
What changed?
Actually, the generating changed. I don't know. I said I was gonna do it for a long time and I didn't. And I do think that the market shifted a little bit. The beginning of the year was a little slower. People were hesitant and spring has sprung. It's now, we're all doing real estate. So, but I think doing the work to get the clients has to happen.
I mean, I think that obviously that's incredibly basic, right, to say, and it's real. And it's real for every single agent, no matter what production level you are, right? If someone's like, what is the problem that you're having? What's the challenge? Or why are you not where you're wanting to be? I have not necessarily heard anyone say, oh, it's just the market. Right? Because if we look, there's homes that are still getting sold. There are listings that are still being taken, and there are a ton of buyers out there. It's legion, right? And the more and more people we can get in front of, the more clients we're going to be able to help. Awesome. All right, who's next?
April appointment goal was 8, 6 is what I did. Contracts was 4, I did 3, and closed units and 1 in April. Which is putting me behind, however, I booked profit, so so far I'm like 6,400 profit is what I did in April. The good thing is those appointments have now put me, I have under contract my whole, if we put everything on, it will close out the year. So that's good. I'm not anywhere where I was last year, but that at least happened. And where I'm at already in April is, I would say lead generation is part of the same thing. And some of the follow-up is starting to come through. And so I'm more than I'm halfway on my appointment goal. I'm 3/4 of the way already on my contract, under contract, and closing for retail. So May and June and July should probably, are anticipating we'll put us through and get that number. So Rick and I swapped a little bit. Last year, Rick wasn't there yet, and then he had a fantastic year. That's what I'm.
Awesome.
All right,
Great
so,
holiday.
April was good, May's not. So April was appointments 20, I did 16, contract 6, I did 5, closed units 4, I did 3. GCI goal was 50, I did 52, so April was good. But May is not, it's because I've only got 1.5 closings essentially at the end, so I'm gonna be way behind on that. Appointment goal is 20. I'm so far at 8, so I'll be way ahead at the end of the month on that. Contracts written 4, I'm at 2. Closed units 4, I've got 1.5 essentially. And so what I'm doing is, like, my entire family is in Florida right now with my sister, and I'm not. It's spring now, and I've got to catch up. So lots of prospecting, lots of appointments, lots of calls. The event, we did so much reaching out to people and getting them to back in touch with us. Yeah, so I'm kicking it into gear. See what that pays off and do.
Awesome. So the lunch just came. I'm going to go through our numbers as a market center real quick. And then if you guys have any last minute thoughts, I just want to be conscious of time. It's almost noon. We had a ton of announcements today. So, in regards to some of the things that we've been tracking that I was getting really excited about and things that I think are great for you guys, right? Anytime we do these numbers, it's a matter of how's it affecting you. I don't know if you guys recall, a few months ago, we were at like 23% of our agents producing or in production. Last month, we were at 40% of our agents in production. It's a
Nice job.
huge jump, huge jump. And that's something
Nice
you guys
job.
should be really, really proud of. And I'm happy because that means that you guys are, doing what you need to do. In regards to number of, the percentage of agents, taking listings, that's still at 20%. So, as we were seeing a little bit in the numbers that we went through, there's more and more single agents versus just some of the teams taking it. And the more that increases, that number will go up as well. GCI for last month was just a little bit over $1 million for the agents. And then going to profit share, was 2,691. And that number is really cool again, because, as you knew last year, the profit was pretty tight, or non-existent essentially for a while after the cap change. And that's it's going up every single month, a little bit more and more. So that's huge for us and that's huge for you, because that's a big part of our market center and our culture. You guys have any questions regarding that at all? Okay, a few numbers that might not mean anything to you guys, but I think are important. When we think about cappers, we have 33 cappers in our office, and then we have 39 team caps. We have 10 half caps, and then 11 that are under a half cap, and then 33 non-producing or new agents. So when you look at a market center and the health of a market center, right now we have the exact same amount of agents that are not producing or new, and the same amount of agents that are actually capping. For a super healthy market center, we need that middle ground to be beefier and the lower part not to be exactly equal, unless that middle part is really, really meaty. And that's the part with our market center that we've struggled with over the years, is we have really high producing agents, and then we have non-producing agents. So the reason I always say, if you ever need any help and you're having, troubles getting to that next level, that's where we can come in and we can help go through a business plan. We can help say, how do we get you to that next level? How do we get you from non-producing to half cap to, quarter cap, 3/4 cap, whatever it might be. We're here to help when that be. Make sense? All right. Any questions for you guys from me? Heather's telling me to look at my phone.
Well, no, I just.
Any other questions? Okay, before we end the ALC meeting, I think it's important we have an announcement that's happening today. With everything, seasons change, market centers change, even Butler Group changes, right? Just different things are shifting along the way. And in a leadership sense, we are having a change in broker. And I'm really excited to announce that our new broker is Kevin Campbell. And I'm incredibly Jim is not here, but I want to say how grateful I am. Jim has been a huge part of this market center. For those of you that didn't know, Jim was also the team leader and built an amazing foundation here. So grateful for everything that he's done, and I'm really excited for the new adventure with Kevin as well. So if you guys have any questions regarding that, please let me or Kevin know, and we can answer those for you.
I'm a little concerned going Kevin. He's got a strong sense of ethics, morality.
You're not supposed to do this in public.
So yes, you were going to be SOL.
Andy has, let me finish. Andy has a skewed perspective that some things are right, some things are wrong, and that there's black and white in this industry. So concerns me a little bit.
And Rick is all about the gray, all about the gray. All right.
It'd be really.
It should be really great. Do I hear a motion? Awesome. Before we grab food, since the ALC meeting portion has concluded, wants and needs, buyers, listings, who's got some?
We got a River Bluff house coming on down on the Minnesota River Valley, in the next week or two. It'll be like 1.4 price range. So if anyone has anything,
What city?
Bloomington,
Wilmington?
out of Love Road.
Really?
So 4
Yeah,
acres.
tell me that.
Yep. Yep.
I do have a horse farm, well, not a horse farm. I do have a hobby farm, but
So random, like, I
What?
do have a horse farm.
I do, well, it just happened, it just happened. In Winsted, which, you know, of all places, right?
I'll be there this weekend.
15 acres. Oh, yeah, yeah.
You're
15
skydiving
acres.
though.
Yeah, we're working on the price right now. It's 7 or 8-ish, but it's 15 acres, barn, house, buildings, all kinds of stuff. It's amazing. So.
Awesome.
Cool.
I have a Corcoran property. It's main level living, kind of a Rambler style, 3 acres, right around 700-ish. They've done some things since the last listing, but if you want the address, just ask.
I have a buyer, that's looking for a townhome, like Chanhassen, Eden Prairie area. If it's in Eden Prairie, kind of closer to like Chanhassen. And they're looking at anything from like 260, 270 and below. I've outweighted their childbirths. Now they're really wanting to get to a place that's not 1 bedroom, 1 bath. So they're looking for 2 bed, 2 bath townhome. It'd be a really great bonus if the garage stall is 2 stall.
I have a tenant, no, go for it. I have a tenant that's looking for something to move in within 2 to 3 weeks, under 2,000 a month with a private garage. So.
In what area?
Oh, sorry, Eden Prairie or the surrounding area of Eden Prairie.
I have a buyer looking basically within like 10 miles of here. Under 400,000, 3 bedroom or more, 2 bath or more, 2 car garage. The 2 car garage is really important. Or it priced where they could add the 2 car garage. And it's move-in ready, like, they don't want to remodel, they want it to be like a flip, basically, they want it to be like a model home. I have a buyer who's looking for, single family, preferably 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, but they want a, primary suite with a walk-in closet and own bathroom. And, not a split level, anywhere around Highway 55 in like Plymouth or Golden Valley, and up to like 550. And really pretty. She wants like a white pigeon.
I had, I posted in our office group last year, I had this, I called it my Zillow Gone Wild property, where the guy had like 1,000 pirated videotapes on his wall on shelves. I've convinced him to finally take everything and put it in a pod. And we'll be putting that on the market, single family in Brooklyn Park. You can see the hilarious before photos if you search our Facebook group. Yeah.
Is that the gutters?
That's the crazy gutter
Yep.
system. There was a poster with a woman's butt cheeks, I said, that needed to come down. The best part is this,
You're just standing in front of the picture, like instead. Like, please don't look at this.
Anyway, that's 25 in Brooklyn Park, but it's really, it feels like it's in Crystal. It's right off of West Broadway. Nice lot, 2-car garage with a workshop built on the back. I know I can't advertise it this way, but I totally see it being like a guy's property that wants to like fix up cars, because that's what this guy did. So there's a carport off the front also, so perfect for someone that's like a car guy.
Nice. Side note, this is not a buyer need or listing, but we are unofficially, informally, kind of, right? Introducing our 10-minute walk a day.
Oh, yeah.
So it's we haven't decided on noon or 12:30. We might just do 12:15. What was it yesterday or the day before? It was 12:30, wasn't it? I think we went at 12:30. So if you guys want to join, just casually come to the front desk and we'll go for a nice little 10-minute walk. Get some fresh air, have some fresh air. All right. Have a great day, and if you have any other wants and needs, send those to Lydia and she'll get them sent out.
We win, I just.
And then